friends, you are very welcome to this presentation. I'm Reason. We will be considering the modeling, analysis, and design of this simple steel warehouse, just like this. Okay, so stay tuned. But before we proceed into the lesson properly, I want to ask you to please give this lesson a thumbs up, and then if you are still not subscribed to Reason channel, kindly subscribe now, and let us make progress. Mind you, this is Protastructure 2022 versions, so I will head straight away to the new tab and click right there, and then I'll click on yes to save this particular one. So in the new file dialog, I will change this name SPDF3, and then I'll scroll down. I'll be considering the United Kingdom Euro codes template. Click on OK options. So here is the Euro code template for the steel warehouse modeling, analysis, and design. So let's make progress. At first, we want to be setting out our grid lines. Okay, so we go straight away to the modeling tab and then click on the orthogonal axis generator just once, and then we pick a point on the environment. Okay, to have the axis generator dialog just like this. At first direction 1 axis, we are having labeled A. This simply means the horizontal direction. So in the horizontal direction, we will be having a space of 4,800, and then we are going to asterisk it. So we are going to asterisk it with 6. Okay, meaning 4,800 is six spaces in the in the horizontal directions, while direction 2 is the vertical directions, and then it's being labeled numerically. All right, so we are going to be having a distance of 7 meters. Okay, and then 7 meters, we have a comma right there. We have another distance of 3 meters. Then we have a comma there, also have a 7 meter. Okay, so altogether the width of this is about 17 meters. Okay, while the length of this is about 24 meters. So click on the OK options. So once you click on the OK options, so this is what you actually expected right here. Okay, so at this point, we go straight away to create stories at first. So we will navigate to the story right there in the structural tree panels. Right click, and then we click on the insert stories. Okay, so in the insert stories, the default story number is 1, and then the default insertion story height is 3 meters. All right, so we change this to 2 meters. Okay, click on the 2 stories, and then to click on the OK options, and then yes options. Okay, so we navigate back to the story 1. Okay, just like this, and then we head over the stories. Okay, right click there, click on the edit stories. Okay, for the first story, we are going to be having 600 right there, just like this. Okay, for the foundation depth, we leave it to be 1 meter, which is 1000 millimeters, just like this. Okay, so after which, the next thing we will be considering is the structural system. The structural system, these provisions. Okay, for the story 1, we'll be having it as ROC, which is reinforced concrete. Then for the story 2, we're having it as steel. Okay, this will make the program to be able to design effectively the structural members. Okay, so these are necessary settings. Click on the OK options, after which we straight away go to the reinforced concrete member, the columns. Click right there. We will be having a columns of sections 350. All right, just like this, 350 by 350. All right, just like this. Okay, after which we'll be having this connected, almost all of this. All right, so I'll do a shift just like this over this to place this really fast. Okay, like this. As you can see, it's been placed successfully. All right, so we have a clone of this. Okay, click on the closed options. The next thing is the beams. All right, so we go to the modeling tab again, click on the beams member. So in the beams member dialog, just like this, we'll be having a beams. Okay, these sections is going to be 250 right there, and then the depth of the beams is going to be 450, just like this, or can just make it 350 right there. Okay, just like this. So we'll be placing this also automatically by doing a sheet over all the columns. Release our hands, okay, to have that placed really fast. Okay, all right, so having done that, we will have to close this. right away we are going to be adding our reinforced concrete slab. Okay, so we go to the start model. You know, in Protastructure 2022, you cannot actually activate your slab if you have not set the loads. Okay, so we go to the load options. There are load cases. Click right there in the load cases dialog. Click on the loading generator. So in the loading generator dialog, you just have to choose all the necessary load patterns you want to apply. We wouldn't need horizontal load because it's not an high-rise structure, so we don't need a wing load. Click on the OK options to apply the loading combinations in respect to an arrow codes. Okay, so click on the OK options, after which you can navigate to the modeling tab and click on the slab right there. So in the slab dialog, we will have to change the reinforced concrete slab thickness to be 150. All right, and then the cover is 25. Go to the loading aspect of it. Okay, this is just for warehouse storage. Okay, so we use two clarity right there. So for the imposed load, we will check an imposed load. We can use hospital ward, or we can use the workshop, shopping area, parking area. So you just have to use any of these. Let's use the one that is carrying 2.5 2.5 kilonewton, okay, per square meters. All right, for the slab. So we just click inside of this to have our slabs being placed, okay, within the beam regions, just like this. All right, so we have this just like this. All right, having placed our reinforced concrete slab successfully at this point, we can navigate to the 3D and then be able to see what we've done so far. Right, so we have set out the structure just like this. The next thing we will be considering is the steel members. Okay, so for the steel members, we are going to be placing it from story 2. So we have to enable story 2 just like this. Okay, the story 2 height, let us go and edit the height of story 2. So we go over to the stories here, right there, right click and then click on the edit story. Then over here where we have story 2, we'll be having the height to be 5 meter. All right, it's going to be 5 meter right there, just like this. Okay, this is 5,000 millimeter, which is equivalent to 5 meter. All right, so after which click on the OK options right there and the yes options. Okay, so at this point in time, I would like us to pause. If you are really learning from this particular lesson, kindly give this lesson a thumbs up, and as well, if you are here to subscribe to the channel. So for reason, let us make progress. I will navigate to the plan view right there. So here is the plan view of this structure. So I will go into the steel members options and then choose the steel columns. All right, so in the steel column dialog, I will head over the steel property, and then in this steel property sections manager dialog like this, I will go all the way to the this is BS. I'm not using BS, mind you, it was hero code I'm using, so I will select hero code as the database. All right, then I will head over to the IPs. Okay, IPs sections. So I will scroll down. I am looking for IPs sections. Okay, so there is IP sections. I will be considering sections sections 1 to 200. Okay, so I click on the select options, and then I will want to rotate it this way, and then click on the OK options. So these are my reinforced concrete columns successfully. So I'm going to place this along this grid lines 1. Okay, just like this. See it here like this. Okay, and then after which I will also place it along this grid lines as well, like this. Okay, so for this grid lines now, I will also have it right here. Okay, and then for this one, I wouldn't have it here. Okay, but I will have it on this intersection of A and 2 grid lines, and over here the same thing, just like this. Okay, so at this point I want to be navigating to the 3D to see what we have done so far. So you get to 3D right there, so you have all of this just the way it is, like this. Okay, so I want to be deleting some of this so that I can make an adjustment to the height of the stanchions. Okay, so I will get all of that stanchions selected, I get them deleted. Okay, options to get them out, just like this. Okay, so now I will select this. First right click and then click on it properties. I'll go to the 3D options of the columns property. For the top extensions, I will be having it to be 3 meter. Right, just like the click on the update to have that successfully. So the same thing is going to be applicable to all of the members. So I just have to right click on that, and then I will click on it properties. All right, so with the same properties, okay, I will use it over here. Sorry, I have to position this very well. I will use it over here just like this. Okay, So, and as well over here, here, okay, here and here. So we have this property just like this, okay. All right, at this time we are going to be placing beams, okay. So for us to carry out that successfully, you just have to go back to the beams and then click on the beams. We'll be still be using the IPA sections, okay, but this time around we are going to consider 160. We'll get that selected for our beams, okay, and then we will click on the okay as well, and then we want to be inclining a beam from this point to this point, okay. So what we need to do is we pick the first point and then pick the second point here to have a beam just like this. Zoom closely, you have your beam just like this, okay. After which what we need to do is we come over to the 3D sections of the beam dialog, and then for the these provisions we make it 3 meter, right. They click on the updates to have that, so you can see it here just like this. All right, so we just have to continue to place that successfully from this point to this other point. All right, so we place that successfully. So let me check if we can copy this to the next one. So if you get this one selected, you can just right click and check if the copy options will be prompting. So you will notice that the copy options is not prompting, okay. So in this case we have to place it manually, okay. So we right click and click on it properties, and then we continue to place this like this. So we have successfully placed all of that just like this, okay. So click on the close options right there. The next thing we will be doing is the steel trusses. All right, so we are going to be connecting the steel trusses from these columns to this one. All right, so we go to the modeling tab and the steel members options, click on the truss right there, pick the first point of the truss and then pick the second point of the truss just like this, and this will enable the truss dialog. We'll be considering this truss, okay. So for this one now we are going to be using the truss support is going to be top and not bottom, right, just like this. Then for the left heel height, okay, the left heel height will be having it to be 600, okay. Then for the right heel height we'll be having it to be 2000 just like this, okay. So if you notice there is a kind of oversight there. So what we need to do for these numbers of the numbers of spaces, we have 8 right there, okay. Then we come over to where we will have the vertical the left vertical offset, and then the right vertical offset, okay. So for the the right vertical offset we have it to be minus, have it to be minus 900. Let's see, okay. So we need to get this up, all right, just something of this kind, okay, for the right vertical offset. All right, so let's click on the OK options and check how it is, okay. So this is nice, all right. This is what we actually expected. So we continue to place the rest of that. Just click on these columns to place that just like this, okay. All right, so we have successfully placed that. So another thing that you should notice is that if you check very well, you notice that this column is actually clashing with the trusses right there. So what you need to do is select this truss just like this and click on this extend column to members, and then pick on this to trim that up. You can see, all right. So the same thing is going to be applicable on the other side, okay. So we select this, and then you trim this off just like that, okay. So having done this, now we are good to go. Again, I want to ask you to give this lesson a thumbs up and then subscribe to this channel, as I will bring you more advanced lesson of this kind, okay. So now we will be looking at the we are going to be looking at the beams as well. So we actually select this beam, right click, and then click on its properties, okay. So in the properties of this beam we will straight away go to 3D provisions and then to reduce the vertical height from there to 0, and then we will be having a beam is going to connect from this point to this other point just like this. Click on the yes options to split that, just like this. Okay, so after which we may also have a beam that's supposed to connect to this point. Okay, so we pick this point and take it all the way down here, and you have our beams right there. Update. All right, deselect that and then come over here. There's something, sorry, another point from this point, but for the sake of this trusses here, but we can still shift this a little bit downward. Okay, so okay, click right there first, so during connection design it will not be clashing right there. So for you to avoid that clashing, you have to send this down a little bit. Let's say we send it down at 250. All right, in that top side. Okay, for the J side we send it also 250 downward. You have to prefix it with minus. Okay, click on the update to have it like this. Okay, so this is what we are going to have in throughout of these provisions. Click right there, yes, options, to have that placed successfully. Click on the close options. Okay, at this point we will be looking at the polars, so we pick the polars right there, pick the first and the last trusses to have a polars dialog come up just like this. Okay, so here is the polars. So in this polars, there are things I wouldn't want, like a sag rod or this. I wouldn't want that. I go back to the geometry. Okay, I can change the profile of this. Okay, using these provisions. Okay, using UPN sections profile, and then this U profile. So whichever, and then as well as the thickness. Okay, depending on the one that passes the analysis and design successfully. So I'll be going by this. I click on the OK options, and then I have all of this. All right, check provisions. Okay, so after which I'm okay with this, I click on the OK options right there to have my polar is placed just like this. So the same thing applicable to this other side. We'll be placing our polars, pick the first one and the last one, and then we go back to these provisions. I want to uncheck this. All right, so with this everything is good. Click on the OK options. Mind you, about loading in Protastructure 2022, you will now have provisions to load your polars here, but we'll do that subsequently. Let's make progress. OK options right there to place that. All right, so having placed all of this just like this, the next thing we'll be placing is another trusses. Okay, over here is like a kind of a provision for storage overhead of the of the headroom. So I will navigate to the truss right there. We'll be having a trusses connecting this point and this point. So we are going to be using this one. We click on this and then we change it to the top. Okay, so then for the trusses, we have our best distance. This the left vertical offset, we have it to be 900 right there. For the right vertical offset, it's going to be 900. You have to prefix it with minus, which means it is sending it downward. Okay, you check what you do for the trusses. Apex height is 2000. We are going to change it to 700 for the apex height. All right, that is it. Then for the spaces, we have that to we increase to 8. All right, just like this. Okay, so after which we are okay with all of our settings. Click on the OK options, and then you have your trusses placed just like this. You can see. So the same way we have to proceed and place it in other provisions successfully. So you can see now we have placed that successfully. You can see over there. All right, so I'll have to deselect this command, and then I'll pick the polars again. We have a polars on these trusses. This will help us to provide a kind of platform right there. Click on the OK options to have a polars on top of that, just like this. All right, so after which the next thing is the gates. Click on the gates right there, the gates, and then pick the first one. We'll be having an entrance here, so I'll pick here, right, to have my guards just like this. I go to the sag rod, not all this sag rod, I really want it. Okay, for this guards. All right, then for the profile you can change it over here successfully. Click on the OK options to have a guard here. All right, so the same thing we will be having over here. So we have to deselect this first and then select it again, pick this one and then this one to have the gates right there. Click on the OK options. All right, so you zoom closely to see what you have done actually. All right, so we will proceed placing our gates also this side, pick that point and this one. So click on the OK options, this and this. Click click on the OK options. Mind you, this provisions is going to be entrance. Okay, so we also add a get route here. Would it have any entrance over here? Click on the OK options to have that. All right, so over here we have it here and here. OK options, also have it here and here. Okay, options. Then for this entrance, we'll also be having a gate, but it's not going to cover the whole of this place. So I will show you how to do that. Pick this one and this. All right, so in these provisions now, we are going to come over for where we have bottom member offset. All right, the bottom member offset, we are going to make it a kind of 2350 right there. Okay, then for the spacing of this member, we will change it to 300 spacing right there. So we having something of this kind, or let's just make it 400 spacing. All right, then this is okay. Well, let's make this 4000 right there. Okay, yeah, we have something of this kind, maybe 3000 something, 3600 right there, and then we'll have something of this kind. Click on the OK options, just like this. Okay, the same thing will be applicable these provisions. All right, click on the OK options, just like this. Okay, and then the same thing will also be applicable to this. Click on the OK options. All right, so we have done with almost the modeling of the structure successfully. The next thing we have to be looking at is the loading of the structure. So for the loading of the structure, it's either you can load these polines or you can use clouding to load. Okay, so I want to be showing you how to do that successfully. And so for you to load this, you can actually navigate to this level. Okay, this level where we are, and then you just have to select the polines right there. Make sure the polines is selected. What you are going to be loading is selected. Make sure you select this first, and then be able to select these polines just like this. After we click on the load editor, you can also find the load editor in the drop down menu. Once you right click, you see click right there once. So once you click that, you will have your polines just like this. So we are going to be applying a full uniform load on this poline. So you click on the full uniform load. So once you click on the full uniform load, you will have the load magnitude in kilonewton per meters here. All right, so you have to provide a load, okay, for this. So let's say I will have the load to be let's say 0.2. All right, so this is G load 0.2. This is G load. Selecting this provision, you can have also your Q load right there. So this is the value of the G load. So after you must have key in the value, what you just need to do is to select these members like this and release your hand. You can see the load is being applied there successfully. For the Q load, for the G load, all right, click on the update right there. If you make any changes here, you have to click on the update and select the members again. So we have applied a load on that, okay, which is the G load. We'll come over to the Q load. Select the Q load. You see the Q load, there's no more load right there. So we need to key in the volume of the Q load to be 0.3. Right, and then we select all of these members just like this to have the load applied successfully. Click on the update and OK option. So we have applied load on this poline successfully. All right, so we make progress on these other polines. The same thing is applicable successfully. So I've done that successfully. We can also go over to the provisions where we'll have modeling, and then we'll be able to use clouding. Right, we can place a clouding here. Okay, click on it once and then it's going to load up. Click on the OK to apply a clouding here, and the same thing applicable here. This clouding can as well helps you to be able to apply load on this structure successfully. All right, mind you, we are working with Protastructure 2022 versions, so you have something of this kind. All right, so you also need to have it over here if you wish. All right, we use clouding to apply load. It also serves as a roofing sheet for our designs successfully. So we have this just like this. Okay, so at this time we are set to carry out the analysis of the structure. Okay, the analysis of the structures and design successfully. But by then we'll have to save this project. Click on the save options right there to get the project saved successfully. All right, so before we actually analyze the structure, we will go back to the analysis tab right there. Click on the building analysis, and then we go straight away to the analysis right there. We need to check the model if the modeling is okay or we are having any error right there. So click on check and start the check. It's going to run a check on the model to see if there's any error right there. So we notice model building model check completed, number of error is 0, so you have to close this now. At this point we are set to carry out the analysis of this structure. So we proceed to click on the analysis right there for this project to start analyzing. Click on it once and then give it some time. It will pick up the analysis, performing preliminary analysis. So it asks us if we are going to design the reinforced concrete column and as well as the beam and the steel members. So we just have to check it. So this is going to run analysis and at the same time designed the structural member successfully. So I'll click on the building analysis right there. All right, so the analysis is done successfully. You can see the relative story draft satisfy the limit. Click on the OK options, and then you can see here has been changed. Okay, so after which, if you check here, say building analysis completed successfully. Okay, so after which, the next thing you have to close these provisions. All right, at this point, we can now start checking the members if they have actually passed or they have failed the design. So first, I want to be looking at this one. I'll select that, right click right there, and then I will go straight away to the steel member design. Click there, give it some time to actually check that member up for us. So from what we are having here, you can see everything has passed design successfully. The utilization ratio is even far less than 1, so this section can be reduced, okay, to make the design economical. All right, click on the OK options. All right, that has passed design. The next thing, let's check the trusses. You select the trusses right there, right click, and then you click on the steel member design. For the trusses, you can also look at it. It has also passed design successfully. Okay, so for this one that we applied load on, horizontal this polite, select that, right click, and then you click on the steel member design. So over here you see almost everything as per design. Utilization ratio 0.35, less than 1. Okay, almost for all of the poline successfully. All right, design is passed. Okay, so if maybe design failed, you can change the sections over here. All right, you can print your report here. All right, click on the OK options. So we have designed this structure warehouse successfully, and then the next thing we will be looking at, let's check the beams and the reinforced concrete columns if they have actually designed as well. Those columns are found at story 1, so you select this and then right click, and then let's check all the column members. Okay, click right there, and then in the columns member you can see all of these have not been designed. All right, but that is not issues. What we need to do, come to the column bash design right there and reselect all. So it's going to reselect all members and design it again for all the stories of this reinforced concrete columns. So give it some time to carry out the design. So you click on the close options. You see all of these columns have been designed successfully. If you come over to where you have the U ratio, you can see the U ratio here is 0.95 right there. Okay, so everything has been designed. If you want to check any of the columns to see the sections, you can click on the interactive design right there, having the first one selected. Okay, so here is the interactive design. So this is the reinforcement pattern of the columns. We have about 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9 numbers of reinforcement in these columns. So if I check there, you can actually see how many of it you have. H16, you can see H16, okay, is being generated for that particular column. So the same thing applicable to every other columns that is going to anchor to the foundations to be able to stabilize the steel warehouse successfully. So click on the closed right there. So I will also navigate to, we also look at the beam member design. So I will click on that and then right click, I will see beam design. So in the ROC beam design, we also notice that all the beams have not been designed as well. So I can't just go straight away to bash designed. Okay, I'll click right there, and then I can select all bars and then click on calculate. I'll give the program some seconds. It is going to carry out the design and select reinforcement successfully for the reinforced concrete beam. Alright, so that is done. Click on close right there. So if you can see now, all of this beam has been designed successfully. If I select any of this and then I go straight away to the interactive design right there, click on interactive design. Having selected the first one, so this is the design, and this is how Protastructure interactive design sections dialog is being presented. 2022 version is like this. It's quite different from lower version, even it's different from 2021 version. The way this particular place is presented is different from the previous version actually. So this has been designed successfully. Click on the OK options. So this is very, very effective, and then it's a very good and then fast in the designing, analysis and design. So I will just have to, I'll close this right away, and then we will navigate to the view. We'll go to the view, and then I will enable the analytical model. Let's look at the analytical model. So here is the analytical model. I want to check the bending moment. I can just activate this diagram right here first. So having diagram activated, I can select the leveling to get rid of the leveling, so I can actually see the deflections pattern on the members. So here it is. I can as well check the M33 of that. And here is the M33 of it, which is the bend moment. So you can check every other things successfully. I want to get rid of this. Okay, so here we go. The next thing we'll be considering is the foundation design, and then we will proceed to take the steel structure to Protastructure so as to carry out the connection design of this steel structure in steel this Protastructure 2022. Once again, I'm so freezing. We are going to be stopping here. Don't forget to like this lesson and subscribe. See you in the next lesson.